Hi, I'm Robin Birkin, an ex-corporate marketer turned online business owner. I took everything I knew and created a six-figure life coaching business in the margins between nap times and a 9-to-5, and I'm here to share with you how you can do the same. Tune in as I share the raw and unfiltered truths, big lessons, and practical tips to help you build and grow a sustainable bread-winning business online that is both peaceful and profitable. Here, we dive deep into all things online courses, funnels, audience growth, and so much more. If that sounds like the things you want to learn, then welcome to Signature Online Course Secrets. Let's go. Hi, and welcome to Signature Online Course Secrets. You may have noticed that we have upped the podcast episodes dropping to you over the next couple of weeks, and that is just because we have so much to say. And if you had a peep at last week's episodes, you'll see what we have in store for quarter 3, quarter 4, and all of the details about the Peace and Profit Mastermind. So what I would love to tell you is that we have an upcoming masterclass coming up very soon. It's all about how you can create your Sweet 6 business and the 3 secrets, the 3 things that are going to be the most impactful to you in doing that. And also at the moment, we are preparing to open the doors to one of our biggest cohorts of the year, to the Peace and Profit Mastermind. This is my premium space. This is where you get all of my attention, my love, really high level strategy and full service support from me. So if you think that you might want that in your business and you are, maybe you're currently at about 5K months, 2K months, and ready to scale to 10 and 20K months in your business, then this might be the premium program that you've been looking for. So if you would like to know anything about my free upcoming class, or you would like to join the wait list for the Peace and Profit Mastermind, we actually only have 6 places available and expect them to go pretty swiftly. So if you think that you might want to join the mastermind or even just find out a little bit more about it, because I anticipate that most of these places, if not all of them, will go to people who are on our wait list, then make sure you peep the show notes below or just send me a message on Instagram and I'll send you through all the details. You can put your name down on the wait list for the mastermind. It doesn't make you obliged to join, but it just makes sure that you get first access to all of the details and the ability to apply, and you get the best possible offer for the mastermind. So make sure you check out the show notes below or send me a DM on Instagram and we can have a chat. But you definitely want to be in the mastermind waitlist if that is something that you're considering. Now, throughout the course of my online business, I've really never been shy about investing in coaching, support, courses, and all of the things. But I really always had this sort of perception that if I wanted support in my business, and, sometimes we invest because we want the shortcut. We're like, I don't want to waste any kind of time. I need to get this thing working ASAP. How do I do that? That's been me. So I've never really balked at investing in coaching. And there's probably 4 reasons for that. So number 1 is I've always seen the long-term return on investment from making investments in my coaching and my support. So I don't have a lot of time in my business. You will see that I have my PDF guide, the 16-hour CEO. Again, link is in the show notes below. But I run my business in what I feel is a very short amount of time. And that includes taking pretty much all of school vacation and holidays off. So how do I do that? Well, wherever I go, I'm literally always thinking, how can I get the shortcut and get to the finish line in the fastest way possible? Because I don't have time, I've always been more than willing to invest money in doing things better, faster. But I've always been able to see the long-term return on investment from the things I've invested in. So case in point, I invested $4,000 on an 8-week one-to-one coaching experience with a lady when I was starting my business. I was like, you know what? I'm going to create a marketing agency. This is what I'm going to do. And I want to do it right from the get-go. And she pushed me to create a signature program. I launched it in that 8 weeks. In that 8 weeks, I only made back $2,500, but I could then see how I could rinse and repeat this process again and again and again. And just that signature course that I launched made $150,000 before it was retired But I've then used a lot of what I've learned, and I've learned more along the way, to create new programs, to create more revenue in my business. Another case in point, I invested 10,000 US dollars in a 4-month coaching experience with a Facebook ads coach. I knew that if I wanted to double my launches and the number of people in my programs, Facebook ads was inevitable. I had dabbled in them and just never had any kind of success. Like, I didn't know what I was doing with them. And so I invested that money because I wanted the shortcut, and I wanted to know from someone who was doing this all the time, what are your secrets? What works? There's so many options in Meta Ads Manager. I was like, what do I need to know? Which ones do I tick? And, right now, this instant, advertising a 16-hour CEO lead magnet. I hope that you've seen it. And getting leads in one of my campaigns for less than $2. Right? Which in business to business and the business coaching type niche, that's really great. And from what I can see, like, I'm really checking all the time the names that are coming through, because I'm trying to see if they look like legitimate business owners rather than beginners. From what I can see, we're hitting the mark with who we're targeting in these ads. And it was how I went on to double my course enrollment. So I've always been able to see the long-term investment in coaching, consulting, outsourcing services, etc. I also, though, really struggle mentally as a solopreneur. Like, I cannot operate my business in a silo. And in 2018 was when I decided I was going to have an online business and launch programs. But I was then headhunted for a role in the middle of that year and went back to corporate, not because of money, because I really struggled mentally with feeling like I was always at home and then always at home. Like, I wasn't going anywhere. I wasn't talking to anyone outside of clients. And so I really need someone to bounce ideas off, someone to speak to who is in that business realm. And I don't really have, like, in my personal circles, anyone else who is like an entrepreneur. So as far as my mental kind of health and enjoyment of online business goes, I really can't operate in a silo. And I've really spent, since that time, years now fostering and cultivating relationships within coaching containers, but also outside of that. I've always done my due diligence. So I've always looked at, these other business owners and had a look at whether, they looked like they were worth their salt. Like, I always have had a look at their testimonials and what they do and the way that they market their businesses. So I've always felt like I've made really great decisions in the people who I've invested with. And I've never had the mindset of, I'll invest when it's working. Case in point is the container that I joined in October last year, was because I knew that I was coming into a really hard season of business as I closed my fertility business. So the very last launch we had was almost exactly a year ago. And coming into that, I was like, I know this decision needs to be made. And I know that I'm in kind of a slingshot season. I need to pull back. I need to shut down something like 70% of my revenue in order to have long-term peace and profit. And I wanted to be supported through that. And I've worked in marketing for more than 20 years now, and I've seen businesses who a recession hits or business is tough in the economy. And it's a really common thing that larger companies, when the economy isn't doing particularly well, they'll start downsizing their marketing team and their marketing spend, versus I've been with companies who, in a recession, double down on their marketing. And I feel like this is the equivalent of, if you have a broken arm, being like, crap, okay, I'll just chop off my arm, right? If things are tough, or if you're about to enter into a tough season in business, I'm like, no way, double down on the marketing, because if the business is tough and you quit your marketing, it's literally just going to get even harder. So I've always invested in my business when I know that I'm in, or I've been about to hit a harder season. I've also invested when I'm in a really great season in my business. But for all of these reasons, I've never really balked at investing in coaching. But I used to always think that I want to invest in a one-to-one coach. So I've always been like, you know what, I'm happy to invest in the direct solution. That doesn't mean I don't invest in courses or anything like that. But I was really averse to investing in group things. And there's a few reasons for that. So one of them, I thought that I needed people's undivided attention and time, right? There's no way that I could be in some kind of group experience and receive the personal level of service that I was looking for and the solutions. Like, I need someone's undivided time. I've also generally been pretty good with this, but there's always the question of, if I join a container, am I going to put out like great ideas and then they'll just get copied? Especially, if I'm entering into containers with people who have similar businesses to me. But then also worried from time to time that I would get stuck in comparisonitis and feel like, oh my God, everybody here is showing up and doing so incredibly, and I'm in the thick of motherhood and I just don't have enough hours in the day to be able to contribute to my business in the way that they are. So feeling like I'm joining a container and I'm never enough because they're all soaring ahead and I'm just limping along the finish line. So these are some of the thoughts I had. So I was working with a coach in a one-to-one capacity, and this was at the end of 2021. So I invested in a 6-month one-to-one coaching experience with this coach. And she said to me at the end of that year, I really think you would benefit from joining the mastermind. And at first I was really resistant to joining this group program. Out of all of these reasons and misconceptions that I had, it was this whole concept of, I want someone's undivided time. Like, I don't want the second solution. But that said, I joined her mastermind. And the number one reason I think that got me over the line was because the investment in the mastermind was the exact same price for 12 months as her one-to-one coaching was for 6 months. So I was like, you know what? Let's go with the longer term solution. And so I invested in the mastermind and was like, holy moly, guacamole, this is way better than one-to-one. And honestly, prove me wrong, because I am now firmly in the camp of masterminds over one-to-one coaching. And I'm in a mastermind now. I'm committed to a mastermind for 18-month experience at the moment because I've been renewing. And these are 9 reasons why I so deeply believe in and myself am in and intend to be in a mastermind. So number 1 is that you get swept up in everyone else's success and momentum. So when other people are winning, when they're launching, when they're staying even keel and steady through launches, you get swept up in that momentum as well. So it inspires you to show up as your best self when you are in something like a mastermind. You see other people taking action and doing the things. And I don't think that comes with pressure, but I do think that comes with momentum and that upswing of being around people who are doing the things that you also want to do. Then instead of receiving the insight and support of one person as you would in like a one-to-one container, masterminds are like 10x. Because if you're sitting on something like a hot seat call, if you're in the coaching channel for your mastermind, it's like you get the insight and experience of 10 people, especially if they're operating similar businesses to you. And so my experience of a mastermind is that I get to sit in and have the wisdom and the insight and the behind the scenes and the experiences of 10 times the number of people. I think the mastermind that I'm in at the moment has 20 people in total in it. So our hot seat calls are a bit smaller. But that blows my mind because I'm like, well, what are they doing that's working? What are they doing that's not working? What are the hard seasons and hard things they're going through? What are the behind the scenes when things don't go well for them? So maybe they have a difficult client or they have something, from a legal perspective that they need to sort out with a client. And I get to be that fly on the wall that sees exactly how they navigate it. Which brings me to the next one, is that you get answers to questions you never knew you even had. So it's like before you even get to that place or have that experience, you know exactly how to deal with it. So maybe you've never had a difficult client experience before, or maybe you've never had something go super wrong in a launch before, or maybe things are going super, super well for you and you've got channel 7 or channel 9 or someone who wants to bring you on as a regular guest on a TV show. Then you're like, okay, well, you get to learn from their experiences when they're saying to their coach, their consultant, whatever it is, and they're coaching them on how to navigate that. You're like, whoa, cool. This is how I pitch, or this is how I navigate this hard conversation, or this is the conversation that I have with that client. So you get answers to questions, experiences that you never even knew you had. Or maybe you learn about revenue opportunities or upsell or continuity offers or things that are working really, really well right now that you would never considered. So you get this ability to be like, oh, hang on, this is how other people are running their businesses. And people can be in the most similar business to you. And I find that when you're in a container like a mastermind, like you would never, it probably depends on the way that the community is curated, but you would literally never, ever be able to even really copy someone else's business model. So I always used to think like, people will be able to copy things, but there's no way they could do that because, like, say for your business, you're working on a particular launch strategy, you can take little bits and pieces of their lessons and their learnings. Like, yes, definitely recommend doing 2 webinars a day. But at the end of the day, we all have to message differently in order to stand out. And I think that's a major, major business lesson. So you can copy sort of tactics, but you could never copy someone's exact business. And that's not the type of containers that I would enter in any way. There's one question I've been asked more than anything else, and it's this. Robin, how do you get so much done in such a short period of time? Because I've never had the luxury of being able to work in my business and hustle those 40 to 60 hour weeks. It's all been between nap times, a 9 to 5, or the school run. And from my 2nd year in business and ever since, we've had 6-figure plus years. So this is it. I've put together for you my entire weekly work schedule, my to-do list, and everything I do in my business to help give you the tips, insights, and strategies to help you thrive as a business owner in part-time hours. It's called 16-Hour CEO, and it's a value-packed PDF that takes you behind the scenes in my business. Want a copy? It is totally free, and it's at launcheasylife.com/CEO. That's launcheasylife.com/CEO. All right, let's dive back into the episode. You also make friends, and this is major for me. So I said before that one of the reasons why I didn't want to operate my business in a silo was because I get very lonely. And part of my life force, online business has completely made me an introvert, but I still thrive. Like, one of my life forces is human interaction, and deep and meaningful human interaction rather than that surface level or client interaction, and making friends and being able to have conversations, Zoom calls with friends, informal mastermind conversations, all of that impacts deeply my experience of running a business. And I really struggle when I don't have that and when I'm not in containers to have that. So it's helped me make so many friends, which brings me to the next one, opened the door to so many collaborations and referrals. So if you are someone who wants to be in summits, you want to appear on other people's podcasts, you want to get invited to other online events, one of the best ways to do that is to build a network of friends and colleagues who have similar businesses to you and are in something like a mastermind together with you, because then you become like friends. You see them all the time. You know their expertise. They know yours. And it's really easy to say to someone, hey, I'm running a summit. Do you want to be part of it? And they're going to say yes because you have that relationship with them. And this is one of probably the long-term benefits of joining a mastermind, is that ability to really open the door to future collaborations. The next one that I have noticed has really impacted my experience of my business by joining a mastermind is that you end up celebrating your wins more. So a really great mastermind container will help you celebrate your wins. And stop to pause for applause to be able to recognize that. And then you'll see everybody else jumping in with their wins and things that, that you never thought might have been a win or you might have skipped past. You get to celebrate that and share that excitement with other people, especially when your friends, your family, your partner, whoever might not get it. But these people get it and they're here to celebrate with you. And then they might be celebrating a collaboration that they've done. And you're like, hang on, I've done a collaboration too. So I can also celebrate. And again, for me, joining a mastermind has helped me enjoy the process of business so much more. The next one is a pretty no-brainer. It's a lower price point than one-to-one coaching. So you might want someone like on demand in your pocket, in your business, and every mastermind deliverables and what is included, it varies between masterminds. The price and the investment of masterminds varies quite significantly as well, but it's always going to be a lower price point than one-to-one coaching or consulting with still that high level of personalized support, or at least it should. So you get a longer term coaching experience, which in my experience is better than one-to-one coaching, but for a lower price. And then the very last one is that I feel like masterminds are far better set up for something that I call asynchronous coaching. So again, it depends on how someone's set up their mastermind. But for me, in the mastermind that I run and the masterminds that I'm a part of, there is this real experience of what I call asynchronous coaching. People in my mastermind are from all across the globe. We have people in the UK, in the US, in Canada. We've had people in New Zealand, people in South Africa. And everybody's in different time zones. Everybody's across the world. Almost everybody who has joined our mastermind has only worked part-time in their business. So there's a real need for coaching and consulting on their time and on their terms. And that is my experience as well of running a business. And so when you're in a mastermind that has something like I see somewhere they're like, yeah, there's a call every day, 5 days of the week. I'm like, there's no way you could get me to attend a call 5 days a week. But if there is a channel for asynchronous coaching, like basically the ability to get really high level coaching on demand, that's the type of mastermind I run, that's the type of masterminds I join, then I'm so in for that because I get what I need in the time that I need it, rather than having to show up for calls every day or having to wait like 3 or 4 weeks for a call to then receive support in my business. So my coach recommended to me at the end of 2021 that I join a mastermind, and I am such a convert now to the point that I would almost always consider joining a mastermind over one-to-one coaching for the network, the collaborations, the ability to expand my brain to all of the opportunities, all of the lessons and insights and behind the scenes with other people as to what's working now. I would almost always join a mastermind. So if you haven't considered joining a mastermind before, but you're curious about it and you think that I might be your person, then definitely tune into our episode where I speak to all of the details of the Peace and Profit Mastermind and what it's included, what the experience is like, and jump on the wait list. As I said, we only have 6 places available and we expect them to go pretty quickly. To give you an idea, we have 8 times the number of people on the wait list as to places available right now. So it's got very much going to be apply first in best dressed experience, and it is business changing. So if you'd like to know more details, check out the show notes below or reach out to me and say hello. Make yourself known to me on Instagram. I highly recommend it. And I'm so excited, honestly, so excited for this next cohort. That's everything for today. I will speak to you so soon. Another episode on the books. If you'd like to continue the conversation and get more super saveable tips, come and find me on Instagram at Robin Birkin. Otherwise, make sure you're subscribed, and I can't wait to see you next week.